Now, let's just irritate a little more. It's like an oyster. You put sand to irritate inside the oyster and you get a pearl. The pearl is what I'm aiming for. But we need to irritate as much as possible. And it's not up to me to judge whether it turns into a pearl or not. I'm just the irritation. And the irritation was done on me. I've been pushed into a corner. I've been irritated to the point where I'm blowing. The pearl in me is coming out. And I now have my voice and I'm going to damn well speak it. And hopefully this video, along with many, many others that are to come, revealing all family secrets that nobody wants exposed. It's all these deep, dark secrets that we don't want anybody to know at the cost of harming other people. Yeah, if I'm the one that's going to be harmed and nobody gives a shit, then, what have you taught me? That nobody else really matters. Like, I really don't care about anybody else's feelings, since nobody cared about my feelings. There's one really, really frustrating psychological trick that's out there, that speak in feelings. I feel you're doing this and I feel you're doing that. That only works so much. You have to actually get the other person to actually care about how you feel. It doesn't matter whether you feel this way or not. If nobody else gives a shit about how you feel, it don't matter. So it doesn't make any sense to have that form of psychology, because that didn't work. Because I talked with feelings for a long time, and nobody gave a shit about feelings. They were all very focused in their own feelings. So while I'm saying nobody cares about my feelings, which my feelings are quite hurt, kind of gives me a reason to smoke all the time. Time to not care about other people's feelings so much. So how my daughter, first of all, the words that came out was for me to stop telling the story on YouTube, and they tried to manipulate and pressure my daughter, put her in the middle, gave her so much stress. She's not feeling well, but yet they added more stress to her during this time by putting her in the middle and trying to get my daughter to try and convince me to keep my mouth shut. This is how abuse goes, is they try to manipulate you to keep your mouth shut. Didn't work, because now you've told me what it is that irritates the hell out of you the most. And part of it was, don't bring my family into this. Well, you brought my family into this, so we should drag your family into this. You want to say, my son's family's all screwed up? Well, let's analyze your family and see how friggin' screwed up your family is. The ones with the money that can sit there and judge me that has no money, and you think you're on top of a hill and think you're better than anybody else, and your judgments about me are wrong? Well, let's just sort of explore some of the issues within that wealthy family that you come from. The ones that can buy a 5-star vacation instantly the minute you put up. You got more money. You can afford to do whatever it is you do. So yeah, I do and will label you to be a hell of a lot more wealthier than me. And you're on a higher mountain than me, and you think your judgments are so much better than me. So let's just do a little exploring. While I was getting to know my daughter-in-law, and there was a plan for us to meet, the parents meeting before the wedding, well, there was a nice little conversation about how much my daughter-in-law really hates her parents. She had nothing good to say. She was saying that her mother is really obsessive. You can do nothing right. And she had cancer 3 times because she, was so obsessive, and the only way she cured her cancer is when she started lightening up. Meanwhile, when I met this woman, she just was judging my son to be, yes, we will support him while he goes to school because he's worth it. And it's like, at what point do you think that you're supporting my son going to school? Like, You're going to pat yourself on the back and say that you've put my son through school, and then after, patterns are repeated and, there's going to be a divorce down the road, and then you're going to say you financially supported my son while he went to school. I believe the kid is working. He also is getting student loans that he's paying for. So that little judgment of you're supporting him to go to school, might want to recheck that one. You have nothing to do with my son getting his own education. He's taking his life in his hands and he's doing it on his own. But that'll mess you up if you want to think that you're doing something and then, it's gone, and then you're going to, oh, I feel so taken advantage of. And then she describes her father as a complete nut, that don't listen to him, that he has his mouth, just spews bullshit and insults people, and, she got so worked up just having her father in town. And yeah, the man said something like, who would like you? To me. Like, what kind of man would say such an insulting thing right in front of my face? But apparently he has a history of spewing out insults to people, and the daughter knows about it, and she has nothing nice to say about her own father. But you know what? These people hand the girl money. She's constantly, getting all these amazing gifts and everything from her family, so, they're acceptable parents as long as she's getting stuff from them. But behind, her parents' back, she has nothing nice to say about her own parents. So let's just open up the window. Let's just let all of these little secrets out that, let's not pretend our family is the only one screwed up. You basically let me know in how many ways your family is just as screwed up. And yeah, it's nice to be keeping in a nice big secret that, your parents don't know how much you criticize them and how much you dislike them and how much, in your own view, you think your parents are crazy. Because you had nothing nice to say about your parents. Any time that I was getting to know you, I never heard you say one nice word about your parents. So I wouldn't be judging my family as being screwed up. I'll admit they're screwed up. But so is your family, and so is your own behavior. So maybe reflect on yourself. Judge yourself before you start judging other people. And just consider this just irritation. Hopefully to make everybody sort of come to a peace table and stop the friggin' judgment. Because you know what? The girl on the bottom, the one that you think has no voice, the one that you think is crazy, here's crazy. I got nothing to lose. When you get to the point where my daughter's in a hospital and needing family, and you people don't give a shit about family, then you tell me you're going to repeat the same patterns. You're doing exactly the same mistakes that I did, and I'm watching my kids start to repeat this same pattern. So, as soon as I start putting this out in the world, as soon as I even make that suggestion, guess what's going to happen? Now you're not going to say anything negative about your parents because you'll know other people are listening, and other people are writing a book, and this chapter's definitely in. So now I've just put the energy out there to make sure you watch your mouth, and you watch who you're talking to, because somebody may reveal your little dirty secrets. And the abuse and the patterns that are being repeated, as long as I start describing these patterns, guess what? You're going to start paying attention to yourself to make sure you're not guilty of what it is I'm accusing you of. So while you may hate me, it's also going to influence you to watch your own behavior, because you don't want to be guilty of anything that I'm putting out there. You're going to be paying attention more to yourself because somebody else is watching and reporting on your actions. Forces you to look at yourself. So you can hate me, I don't care, but at the end of the day, your marriage is going to last a hell of a lot longer, because now you're going to have to work at it. Now you're going to have to watch your P's and Q's. You're going to have to watch how much you do drink. By the way, when you say, hey, if I'm doing something wrong, just give me a glass of wine and then we'll talk, kind of a sign that you drink because you have a problem. If you're obsessive compulsive about things, and you even say that you've got a medical issue that says you're compulsive about something, change your compulsive behaviors. Don't look to be perfect. Accept we're all fucked up. It's okay. We're all fucked up. Be at one with it. Don't search for perfection all the time, because you'll never get it. Your act of trying to be perfect is making everything imperfect. So you're going to watch that behavior as well. So me putting that out there, guess what? It's out of love, because I don't want these patterns repeated. I don't want my son to be in a very bad divorce. I don't want him getting his education with you thinking that he took advantage of you. I don't want anybody repeating these patterns. And the best way to do it, the best way to break the spell, is by putting words and descriptions to it. And if it's painful, you'll have to look at yourself all the time to make sure that I'm not right. And as long as you got the hate and anger towards me to prove me wrong, you'll make sure that I'm always wrong by never falling into the same behaviors again. And in the end, your marriage will be a lot longer. You'll have healthier kids. You'll make sure that the patterns aren't going to be repeated because you're too busy proving me wrong. So that's the effort there, is prove me wrong. Prove that you don't have those behaviors. And then you'll never have those behaviors again. Peace out.